Greetings. Mësët to all the beloved across the realm. Salute, Brother Rick. Breadcrumbs, Sister Kim. Glad tidings to all of you. Sisters Annette, Tiffany, come on in. I'm going to give y'all a moment. Let me grab my copper water for a moment and just allow people to start coming on in. And we're going to get started. Tonight is not part 4 of the SATURNal order. I'll explain that in a moment. Whew. All right. Come on in. Get comfortable. Look at the emanation coming off of there. That's not light reflection or something coming in. That right there is auric toroid field emanation. Do y'all see it? But you see it? I don't have any light above me. The light is over here. You see it going straight up? For those of you that don't know how to structure your water, excuse me. There's moments where I just have to do that without, giving anyone a heads up. But if you don't have access to getting a real copper bottle, this one actually has, geometric pattern in it as well. It's a basic pattern. It's not nothing intricate. Because personally, I did not want something so intricate that it's the same exact frequency. So this bottle has a baseline frequency, as you can see. You can kind of see it. It's not as detailed as it is, in person. But basically, even if you don't have a copper vessel for your water or any liquid that you're consuming or even feeding your plants, the way you structure your water is sound, and you don't have to put it in front of speakers and this and that. It's your voice, okay, and your mind. Your vibration, every thought is a vibration, okay. So what you really want to do is you'll take this and you really want to focus. You don't just grab the water or speakers. How most religious people pray. Now I lay me down to sleep and all that. I guess there's nothing behind it. There's no true laser-like focus, intent, authentic love pushing that, okay, into the aether. This is also aether. It's just a different phase. All right. So what you're going to do is you just put it to, you don't have to put it to your head, but if you really want to do like structure it, you put it to your head and you focus with the most authentic love. That's first of all. And you just speak words. You don't speak whole sentences and all that. That's where you'll mess up at. Basic love, balance, wholeness, truth, remember, repair, rejuvenate, guidance, guide. You know, that's how you structure your water. Okay. And you must be very careful on which words you use. Okay. You're very, very careful. Like I said, it's basic. The truth is basic. Okay. You're not speaking all that Babylonian, double speak. Now you putting confusion in that water. And if you can see it under a microscope, even the water is confused. Okay. So you have structured confusion into it. All right. That's what language is. It literally is to confuse the manifestation God power that we have. Now, the reason, and Mësët to all those who are still coming in, the reason I'm not doing part 4 of the SATURNAL order, I mean, the reason is always because what the Great Spirit puts on my heart. That's plain and simple, really. But to give a little more detail about it, yesterday I did. I didn't even know it was going to turn into a full-blown teaching, hour and 40 minutes. I'm in a vehicle. Okay, started out parked. Ended up having to start driving while I was doing this teaching, and it was. I thought it was just gonna be showing this little 20-minute video and speaking over top of it and just adding clarification to it. I posted it, and then within a few minutes, it had like almost 100 likes or something like that. So I thought everything was cool. Started reading the comments, and I see everybody's telling me, Chief, at around 22, the builder number, right? The teaching, once again, many have told I that this is the only platform they've ever heard this. And I'm not saying this to like boast, like I got so much of the truth over here. I got demons attacking. Like, I'm not, don't get it twisted. I'm not in any way trying to come off like that. Okay. But many have told I that they've never heard, and I personally haven't. I've never seen anyone's page anywhere on the internet get that happen to their videos. And it only happens to the ones that the Great Spirit really gets flowing, and it's a freestyle teaching. It's the ones that aren't like that, like the SATURNAL order. When I have that, and I got the teachings, like the series teaching, it doesn't happen. It only happens when it's like off the top and it's just coming, and that truth gets flowing. And it's all one thing the correlation I've noticed is when it exposes a certain group, a certain energy, when it exposes them and it starts breaking their spell. That is when they do that demonic overlay, which I have a responsibility to where I have to take it down. I can't even let the first 22 minutes play, which still had edification in it. Because the hour after that is this crazy distorted, and it's not. Listen, for one, I wouldn't want you to sit and listen to that, okay? Because it's a demonic language. It's clear. If you don't have to sit and hear it and listen to it, you can feel it in your heart. You know what it is. It's not some kind of white noise or some kind of interference. If that was the case, you would hear it across the internet on numerous different pages. It only happens right here. They put this demonic overlay over top of me, and it's literally, and let me be clear. The Legion, they have no authority over anything that's coming out over here. It's just because of this electronic, this right here. Okay, it's not organic. That's their little entry way. Okay, because we're using this parasitic system. That's their entry point, so they can get on there and do their little thing. And I would not want anyone to sit there and listen to that crap. You don't know what them entities are saying, but I tell you what, it ain't got no authority over what was being said. All they're doing is trying to cancel it out, so the breaking of the spell doesn't get transferred to the broadcast. Okay. Breaking their conjure, and that's what it is. And it's happened numerous occasions. And I realized yesterday when it happens. It's always when a certain topic is being discussed, and then guess what? Great Spirit put it on my heart to come back right on here right now, and we're going to do it all over again. I'm going to play this video. I have no notes. I have nothing in front of me, front of I, except this water, and we're going to get it going. I don't know if the same exact things are going to be said. I don't know how it's going to happen. All I know is that the greatest of spirit is finna give y'all the truth. And it's going to edify your eternal soul that they are jealous over and they cannot harm, and you have all authority over all in this realm. Period. There is no fear. We are authors of the fear, which is fire, earth, air, and rivers of living water. That's the only fear we operate with. And we're not scared of anything. We are sacred. We don't operate out of scared energy. We operate with sacred energy. Okay? And anxiety, depression, worry is worry. You're warring with it's not even really yourself. We call it self, but it's not really you. It's an implant. People talk about the mark of the beast. It's all you're already in the first one. We coming up on man 5.0. It's already in progress. It's already in progress. Man 5.0. This is in all the native across the whole realm. All right. There's now some people. There was a trend started a few years ago where they say this is the 23rd, I guess, time this is happening, but they got that confused. They're talking about changeover events, which is the great year cycle, which is it's much more. It's countable and uncountable. It's a prism. All right. It's a prism, PRISM, or a prison, or a person. Your cells can be the cell that you are prisoned or personified, prisonified, okay, in, or it can emit energy to repair so everyone can remember who and what they truly are. That's all I'm here to do. That's why I am here. Okay? Just to get you to remember who you truly are. That's it. I'm not going to tell you who you are. You have to remember. All right? I can tell you that you're my brother and you're my sister. I can tell you that. I can tell you that this is not the first time that you have been through this. I can tell you that most of you are here. If you are on, come to this page, this platform, whatever you want to call it, this school, this community, then I can pretty much tell you that most of you are here because you're graduating. You're graduating. Point blank period. You're graduating. Okay? And there's some of you on here that already have graduated. You made the free will decision to come back. Not because you got tricked by an archon and, you know, your family members were standing there waiting, or Jesus was there and told you, you know, you sinned and you got to go back. All that stuff they feed you about the archons and the prison planet and all that. You have free will. But there's also universal laws. Okay? Universal laws. All right? And there's an A tone, alpha tone. All right? That is source frequency, organic, origin, orgain, like gynecologist. In Arabic, they turn the feminine energy to jinn, demonic. All right? They've demonized the feminine energy. It is so out of balance right now in this moment. See, the changeover events, the severity of them, sometimes it could be a changing of the age and it'll be a rainbow, a little shower and a rainbow. That's the changeover event. And a whole bunch of birds flying in the air and going in a circle and changing the way they fly. Instead of flying south during this particular season, now they're flying north. If things are in harmony, that can be the changeover event. But when energy is so out of whack, the scales of Ma'at, scales of the mother, are so out of whack, the more out of whack they are, the more severe the changeover. Now, within the great year, which is approximately about 26,000 years, almost, there's four periods, approximately every 6,400 or so years. 6,500, 6,400, around there, which we call a portal opens or manifest. Okay, 4 quarters. This is what the swastika represents. A brother and a sister tagged me on a Hopewell post on Facebook about this swastika that they claim is from the Hopewell tribe. First of all, it's not, but I did clarify what the swastika is. Okay. All it is Ursa Major going around the pole star. And it first became a symbol about 12,900 years ago. Okay. Almost exactly 12,900 years ago. during the last pole shift when Atlantis sunk and the Great Flood came upon. That's when that symbol, that logos, became a thing. The 7 stars in Ursa Major represent the 7 universal laws. The 4 sides of it represents the 4 phases of your life, the four seasons, and the 4 phases of the sun cycle. I call it the sun cycle. My tribe calls it the sun cycle. But the more I've learned and it's been unveiled to I about it, it's really the light cycle. It's not about it. The sun is just a part of it. The sun / light cycle, there's four different phases of it. And that's what that swastika originally represent. The Hindus call them yugas, Kali Yuga, and all that. All right. So it's and it goes even deeper than that. Okay. But that's what that swastika represents. All right. All it is Ursa Major, the Big Dipper, going around the pole star. And it happens every night. It's just wherever you're at. Northern Hemisphere only sees it for 6 months. So they made stories out of this, even with Baal. Goes into the Baal and Yam. And the Canaanites made mythos about this, about even Ishtar, and this goes underground for 6 months out of the year and then comes back up for 6 months. 6 moons. Okay. They're talking about the Northern Hemisphere and the Southern Hemisphere, which is really the inner of the bowl and the outer of the bowl. All right. When the sun spirals out, all light spirals. Water is light. If you pour water out, it moves in a spiral. When water goes down, it goes in a spiral, and when it's entering or when it's exiting, that's a whirlpool. When it goes in when it's exiting, it's a spiral. When it's coming in, it's a spiral. When you pee, it's a spiral. Even women, whether you know it or not, your pee is moving in a spiral because all water is light. Air is water. Okay. This whole world, Tiamata is the water world. You're breathing water. We are saltwater beings. We are not freshwater beings. That's why when you sweat salt. If you work out hard enough or play basketball or something, you have salt. You will literally have real salt. If you let it dry up without wiping yourself up, you have real salt on you. Cell salts can heal anything. That's another thing. When the Great Spirit placed on my heart, I will do a teaching on the cell salts. And that is connected to the zodiac or Zoion as well. All right. That's how you're supposed to be using these energies, these signatures, because it's energy. It's not benevolent or malevolent. All right. And it's not meant for you or for someone else to try to tell you your scope, your horoscope, to try to guess and what they call them, divination, to try to divinate. All right, to use divine energy instead of sacred energy, because sacred energy is just being. You just be. You are. It is. You are. You is. It is. We are. We is. Just be. It is done. You already won. It's won. We won now. Now you know. There's nothing, they say there's nothing new under the sun when you're in a sleep spell, but everything is new under the sun. What when they new, KNEW, everything is new under the sun. You're the sun. You're the light of the world. You're the Christos. You're the Chiro. Previously the hero or Heru, before it was hijacked to Horus and Isis and this and that, and they turned it into a religion, just like they did the Bible, Biblicans, Christianity, and got them worshiping this one being now, Osiris, which is the Father and the Son in one. They're one, like Jesus and the Father are one. Same story. They got you worshiping someone that came out of a womb just like you, in the spiritual realm and in the physical. Not to be worshipped. Fellowship, union, unity, unify. If thine eye be single and full of light. Okay? Even that was turned into a religion. Why do you think it says in Genes of Isis, Genesis, that the serpent's eye, head will be fatally bruised by the seed of the womb man or the mother, great mother? Okay? Because they can't get any higher than that right there, that pine cone on the scepter of the Pope. The pine cone in the Hindu and the Veda texts and the Vedas and this and that, and the pine cones everywhere in the Himalayan mountains, the pineal gland. They worship this thing. Anatomy, the demiurge, the Anunna hijack. They worship it instead of utilizing all the energy and just being and realizing that this is not malevolent, this is not benevolent. You are the author. You have authority. The golden light. You are the gold that they're minding, not mining. Now let's get into it. Greetings to everyone that came in late. Mësët to all. Let me see. So present. Share screen. Share screen. Entire screen. Boom. Share. All right. Okay. All right. Did y'all hear her speak? Did everyone hear that video? Let me know before I start teaching and these entities start trying to hijack Ronnie. Hold on, y'all. My son just walked in. Maybe he can help. They're saying they cannot hear the video. I just tried it. I'm screen sharing. Right here. I already added it to the stage.
What video you want?
It's on here. This video right here. I did entire screen last time. Oh, so yeah, that was already on. Let's put it.
When there was the initial debate if hominids should be transformed into a worker race for the Anunnaki.
Okay. Did everybody? Can y'all hear it yet? Can y'all hear the video? Better. All right, now everybody said thank you. Young chieftain. Hey, baby. Say hi to the people.
Hi.
All right, now let's get it. All right, I'm gonna start this over. And please excuse the language, y'all. You know I don't use these words. I don't know if this lady. I think this lady is AI. I honestly, there's so much AI, the videos out here now. I don't even take the moment to even give my energy to it to sit there and try to figure it out. Because most of the time I'm not even looking. I'm the only time I listen to this kind of stuff is if I'm driving and things, and it's just playing on my feed or whatever. So I'm not even looking to see. I'm just listening. All right. So I just want to let you guys know I'm fully aware of these AI videos and all that.
And beach is tomorrow.
Beach is tomorrow, y'all. That she want to let y'all know. Okay. See, look, all of my wife and I's children were be-earthed and on the coast. So we grew up going to the beach. It's a normal thing for us. Like we don't even think about it. Like we can't.
Beach has umbrellas where we sit down.
It has umbrellas where we sit down at. Oh snap! The beach got umbrellas where we sit down at, y'all.
Yeah, then you can wash your hair like this.
Oh yeah, and relax your head like this. Oh, I can't wait. She's the only one that was be-earthed in the middle of the landmass, so she's yet to go to the beach. Never been. Has never been, but it is in her light codes.
I'm still coughing.
You still coughing? It's allergies. You're gonna be all right, baby. Take a sip of this love water real quick. Take a sip. Oh, you structuring it. Okay. Go ahead and add that in there then. Thank you. Yo, she be structuring her water. If I give her sacred oil or anything like that, she'll structure it. And she be whispering too. Like I'm trying to get in on it. Like she can teach me. I'm trying to learn from her. She be over there like, I'm telling you, man. To enter the kingdom, to enter the realm, the heavenly realm, you gotta come as a child. The souls that are coming, let me let y'all in on something. The souls that are coming in right now are the original OG souls. So each one that comes in, now let me be straight. Let me be clear. We weren't created in time. So no one's older than another. But when I say OG, I mean like been doing this, like been engaged in similar scenarios that we are currently in this moment. So that's what we call old souls. It's not that a soul is older than another. We will all create, we're all eternal, therefore we're created outside, beyond Saturn. Okay? Beyond the Saturnal order. All right. So we all there's no age. We're not an age. So okay. So when I say old soul or original soul, I'm talking about someone that has, rank, got stripes, I'm in the military, got all them little medals and stuff. The souls that's still coming in and squeezing in right now in this next 20 years are, let me tell you, we all got the same authority and the same the amount of power. But when I tell you the souls that are coming in these next, like now, is special ops, including you all, including us. I'm just letting you know the ones that are kind of squeezed in, just popping in, not taking none. Man, woo! They finna anchor in that A-tone, and we are too. All right, so let's get this video playing. Start it over. Nah, please turn that down, baby.
Do you want to know where the Anunnaki fucked up with us? I'll tell you how they fucked up with us. When there was the initial debate if hominids should be transformed into a worker race for the Anunnaki that were here on Earth to mine their gold, there are certain laws that everybody has to abide by. A little bit like, the Prime Directive. Basically, you can't go playing God on other planets. You can't go and interrupt other civilizations and their evolution process. You just...
Okay. To be clear, this person, whether it's AI or whatever, the message came from someone. Okay. So we're just going to use these words to articulate and get the message across. When it says planet, I'm just going to say she. All right. Make things basic. When she says planet, let's correct that. We're not talking about flying balls, and Nibiru is this location that has a 3,600 year orbit, elliptical orbit, and it's this and that, and it's this planet and all this nonsense these people are giving you, i.e. the gatekeeper and Freemason Zechariah Sitchin. Okay. Everything here is frequency. Everything. Emotion, energy and motion is all frequency. It's wavelengths. It's vibration rate. Okay. It's all frequency and vibration. That's the word. All right. That's when they talk about Christ was in the beginning was God and the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God. It's vibration, frequency, sound. All right. Sound creates light. So sound comes before the light. Okay. So that's Lucifer, the light, thinking it's above sound. Christ, the rebellion. Okay. The light beings thinking they're more powerful than the unseen sound. The triple black seed of the mother, we're more powerful because we're glowing and we're light and this and that. We're the most powerful things in existence. But yet the unseen vibration of the sound is creating the light. So without the sound or the Christ, there can be no Lucifer or light bearer. So if you kill the Christ, you kill yourself in the mythos. Speaking about the Luciferians. The light can't exist without the sound, aka the word. So the light, the holy, the holography, the hologram, the holographic you and I verse, the demiurge, the lens, the all-seeing eye, this game of mirrors that they're playing here of illusions, the ill use of ions cannot exist without the word. That's what the original mythos was trying to tell you. Not to worship some one man that is God and man, that is you. He even said, is it not written? Didn't you already? It's all in the book, and yet people still are worshiping this book in one man. When he's sitting there meditating and communing within. It's all there. But anyway, let me not get sidetracked. Let's get back. So there it is using the word planet. It's frequency, aka dimensional. Okay. Now we are on a bigger earth. Okay. Goes by many names, but the name that I use is Tiamat. Tiamat. All right. The bigger earth is not the Great Mother. It's part of the Great Mother is a circle that encompasses all, but yet has no circumference. Okay. So Tiamat, the bigger earth, is not the Great Mother. It's another it's a creation. It's part of the Great Mother, as the specks of us are. Okay. There's been an overlay over top of it based on the divergence and convergence of light, aka the use of convex lens and concave lenses. Your eyes. That's why they worship the all-seeing eye, and that's why the snake eye, the goat's eye, the cat's eyes. That's all in the ancient hieroglyphs because they have convex lens eyes. Convex lenses can see virtual and real images. Concave lenses, aka the dome, and your eyeballs on the external can only see virtual images, meaning everything you see is virtual. That's where the simulacrum theory comes into play. You're literally seeing 0.003% of truth. Therefore, it's safe to say that if you're seeing 99.99% illusion, that you are in a form of simulation of sorts. You got to be careful when you get into these ideologies, though. All right.
Us can't touch that. Now, the loophole for the Anunnaki was this, and this is why they thought they could do it and not have karmic consequences for it or not get in trouble for it. The Anunnaki's god is the sun god Samash.
All right, let's hold it right there. The ANUNNA, Anunnaki came, that word came later from the Akkadians. Okay. The Anunna's god is not Shamash. Okay. Shamash was the Sumerian sun god. All right. This comes from this would be a whole nother probably series to try to really dive deep into this. But the sun that you see is an illusion. It's not a physical object. It's an intersection, aka focal point of the word, the emanation coming from the center of our crater, aka the triple black seed of the mother. They call the core. Some call the black sun, but what the elites call the black sun is Saturn. But some call the black sun the core in the middle of our crater, Gaia or Gaia. Okay. It's a black hole. It's not this core, this like a sun. It's a black hole. It's what CERN is that's all CERN and the Large Hadron Collider is concerned about. Is about that black hole. They're trying to make one artificially. Okay. And they've been unsuccessful in every attempt. All right. So that's the real thing about CERN and the LHC. Now, what happens is all emanations come out of this black hole. All vibrations before they're even light, before it's even light. So it holds every light ray from the unseen to the itty bitty little visible spectrum, all the way from infrared rays all the way up to gamma rays. It holds these. The pole star that is above in there's two lenses up top to create the illusions that are projected into this realm. When the ANUNNA made these lenses, aka the firmament, it's not natural. The dome. Why do you think people like Hillary Clinton and all that say it's 17,000 cracks in it, 17 billion, and we're gonna bring it down? They're trying to escape. They're trying to get out of here. They are of the bloodline that basically they got trapped in here by the Great Mother. That's a whole nother. Maybe it'll get touched on within this teaching. But that's what Antarctica is. They got trapped. The Great Mother froze off the right side of the brain of our crater. If you don't know, what they call Antarctica is the entire right side of the bowl that we're in. We only live, the whole map is literally only on the left hemisphere of our crater. And they have split that up into our right and left hemisphere and the center and all that. It's because the whole right side been frozen off. So they can't do what they did with Atlantis, which was Saturn 2.0, and make a crater and a crater and a crater floating on top of the waters. And it's called geomancy. And they hacked the minds of every living thing in this realm with the 369 energy and put us all in a daze, sunk our one of our continents, our most spiritually heightened awareness civilization, Lemuria, known as Lemuria, all right, which also just means the mother, the waters of the mother, the living waters, Lemuria, okay. They sunk that, and the survivors of Lemuria came in a trance by boat. Some walked over land bridges, this, that, the other, and they made their way to Atlantis in a daze. Almost similar to this in 5G. And they got hijacked because macro. If they can hack the macro, they can hack the micro, which is you in this room. All right. And that's what they did. So the Great Mother, took same as it happens if you have an infection in your body. What happens? What's the first thing that happens? It gets blocked off. You get a blister. What's a blister? It's filled with water. Even pus, when you pop a pimple, that's just water. That's just after effect. That's slush. That's the mud flood. That's liquefaction going on inside your actual physical bodies. Micro, macro. What's a cyst? Comes from the systems, the systems. It's unnatural, tumor, a cancer. Okay? The crab that moves sideways. When they knocked our energy balance, our energy out of whack, out of balance, and that's when the moon started going through 14 phases. And that's when our womb men started going through the menstrual cycles, menstruation, menopause. Okay? It's all about the men, the distorted masculine, the masked lion, the lion with the scales and the feathers and the dragon bottom, serpent bottom. That represents all four elements. All right. The lion represents in the eyes and the face of the sun and the fire. That's fire. All right. Leo, the lion. Leo, lion. That's the fire in the eyes and coming out and all that. The demi or Yada Baal. The scales, like the dragon and the fish and all that. That's the water. That represents water. The feathers of the feathered serpent, the plumed serpent, the feathers represents the air. And then the snake that's on its belly represents the earth. You shall be in the dust all your days. It's encoded in the Bible. Understanding begins with fear of the Lord. Yahweh, the Tetragrammaton, Baal, Enlil, the Lord of the air, El Elyon, Saturn. It's all encoded in their logos. The Greeks were master scribes, master record keepers. And this is why the Greeks have this all recorded. Okay. Well, who they learning from? The Egyptians. But they got the I guess privilege of being on the outside looking in, because they got to come in and see when the Egyptians, or actually the Tamarans, were getting hijacked. So the intelligent Greek mystery schools got to be on the outside looking in and watch the hijack happen. And they wrote it all down. So the Greeks, Macedonians, are the master record keepers. But it all comes from the Tamarans, aka Egyptians. Where did all their stuff come from? The Atlanteans. Who are the Atlanteans? Those that came on the Argo, the Ennead, or the ogdoad, the eight, it depends on who you ask, the 8 or 9 L-eats of the crater that we call Saturn, that is on Tiamat, the bigger Earth, all on one plane of inertia. Each one is a bowl. The 7 bowls in the Bible, the 7 seals, that's a circle. The 7 churches, church is Circe or circus or kirk, or meaning circle. Chakra is wheel of light. Okay, trumpet is a wheel that emanates sound. It's all about circular energy, nature signs, signatures, signature waves that are all have a different signature. Saturn has a 1/3 signature, aka 369 energy signature. That's why 1/3 of the fallen angels, not 1/3 of the fallen angles of light. It's their light signatures. The 1/3, 369. That's the Saturnic energy, aka blue bloods. Now I'm gonna show you. We're gonna get into it. Oh, Shamash. Shamash is also known in Babylon as Utu. Utu and Shamash and Ishtar are twins. Shamash is the male deity. Ish or Inanna or Ishtar, Easter, is a female deity. That's the sun and the moon. Again, the energy signatures. What they would do, these Anunnas would associate themselves with the energy signatures, and they would embrace these energy signatures and amplify them down here on this plane of inertia. So if they aren't Inanna, Ishtar, Easter is not the moon. Okay. Actually, really is Venus, but originally it was not Venus because Ninmah, who was Enki and Enlil's sister, known as Lilith, was Venus originally. But these epithets or archetypes get passed on as logos of these bloodlines, basically. Enlil is known as the bull of heaven. Okay. Enki is Enlil is associated with Jupiter. Okay. The Jupiter, the rock that the church is found upon, and all that. Yahweh, Yahuwah, or who is Jupiter? The Jupiter, and also Zeus. Jesus, Hail Zeus, Hey Zeus. When really Jesus means he's us. See, the energy in these mythos is not benevolent or malevolent. You're the author. You have the authority of that. I'm not gonna eat right now, baby. Thank you though. So Shamash is the highest candle on the menorah. Menorah is men's aura. Okay, or men of Ra. Okay. Torah, like the Torah, is Turah. Okay. The menorah is men of Ra, menorah, or men aura of men. Just like Solomon is soul of man and soul, O moon. It's the sun and the moon, and the O is earth or your soul. So there's see how there's 2 different messages in every mythos? That's the confusion. That's called the CAIN-ABLES system. CAIN-ABLE. System. It's to keep you conned and fused to the con. And trolled by the con. Okay? That's what it's all about. To represent, to give you two choices: true, false, good, bad, evil, good, red, blue. When that's called division. It's all virtual. If thine eye be single, singularity, we are one. I abide in you, you abide in I, and we abide in the eternal, the origin of eternal soul, life, light, and rest, resh, rosh, crest, Christ. The resh in Phoenician is the symbol, the glyph of a head. It means God man, head man, which is who we know as Adam, the real Adam, who never came to this. The real Adam has never came into this simulation, this density. The real Adam, the closest to real Adam, which is your father, that's your father. And that is not the origin of your soul. You come from a womb where organic minds begin. Okay. Even Adam, your father, comes from where organic minds begin, the great mother. And I'm not talking about Barbello for anyone that studies the Gnostic text. Okay. Barbello, I'm not talking about Sophia. Sophia is the 30th emanation. That also Sophia has to do with the Freemason, my sons, and the demiurge. So Sophia is not the great mother. Do not get it twisted. Okay? So don't think, oh no, the great mother is the one that made the demiurge. No, actually, Sophia is the 30th emanation. Every emanation has it's actually 15 that have two pairs. Masculine, sacred feminine. So Sophia was actually the 15th, but she was the last, the 30th. And it's a pair. 72,000 light codes of sacred masculine, 72,000 light codes of sacred feminine. 144,000. What these blue bloods, ANUNNAs, are trying to do is add a third strand of 72,000. All right. Made of, I'm not even going to say the word. You guys should know the certain substances. I can say silicone. That it has silicone in it, but the G word, like a graph, like goo, ego, the electric goo, the permanent ego, the permanent electric goo, the black. That's what that is. It's being stuck in the permanent persona, the permanent mask, the permanent stuck in time. See, these bodies aren't permanent. They thought they had us permanently. The Anunnaki, a battery source to mind your gold, your aura, AURA, your golden light. Not no gold. That's not a gold, solid gold. They vibrate on certain levels. They don't even touch and pick up solid objects. Why do you think they had to do burnt offerings? Because they needed the plasma to turn into vapor, the third state of water. The only thing that carries plasma is sexual fluid and blood. Provide me a burnt offering 2 times a day and 3 times on the Sabbath day, on Saturn day. your firstborn, your finest without blemish. Yeah, they want the most pure energy, because as the energy gets passed on, it gets less and less and less and less, just like the emanations of Sophia being the 30th. Okay. Adam, the golden Adam, which who the Kabbalah calls Adam Kadmon, which I don't use their terminology. It's the golden Adam. Okay. And it's you. Why do you think Christ always says son of man? He's talking about Adam. The real Adam, not the Adam you heard about in the Garden of Eden and all that nonsense. That was already when these beings had hijacked it said, a hominid race. There was more than one type of being here. It wasn't just a bunch of monkey men running around here. Enki or Iya, let's be clear. So for those that don't know, Enki is Yah and Enlil is Yahweh. The first Yahweh. Because Yahweh is just a title. It was actually passed on to humans as well. The one most prevalent in the Bible is Jethro. Jethro was Yahweh for a moment. He's the one that gave Moses that staff, which is nothing more than the Archon staff that they show you with the Osiris X, the crook and the flail. That's all that is. When they tell you they're holding it up, it's magnodielectric energy. It's technology. That's all it is. Moses' staff, parting the water, osmosis. Moshe is Shemash. If you don't know, the Kabbalah has 3 hidden languages: Gematria, Notarikon, and Tumura. Tumura is when they take a syllable and reverse it. Shemash, Moshe. Okay. Moses or Moshe's real name, first name was Amen Hotep IV. Okay. Changed his name to a title, Akhenaten, and started Aten worship, aka sun worship. Now, when the changeover event occurred from the age of Taurus, the golden calf, the bull, okay, when the Egyptians were ruling everything and were in alignment with the energy, Taurus is ruled by what energy? Venus. As well as Libra, the scales of Ma'at. That's when they split. I did the teaching on Archaic, showing you that's when they split timelines. That's when the timeline split. Went from the scales of Ma'at, the age of Libra, to the age of Taurus, the golden bull. That's when they turned the A, which was a scarab, which is the moon. When it was full moon, at all times, there was no moon cycles. Women had no menstrual cycles, and all. It's when they created a wobble, an energy wobble, okay, which it was called the Apep. The Greeks called it Apophis. We call it today the analemma, or the necktie. That's what the necktie is. That's where the necktie comes from. It shows that you are a slave. You are bound inside of the analemma. Time. The infinite cycle. The infinity symbol is the analemma.
Your food is cold.
Baby, I'm not going to eat. Daddy is fasting. Oh. Okay. All right. So, Shamash. All right, now. Calm down. Shamash is the top candle on the menorah, the menorah, that's the top candle. It's called Shamash to this day. Okay. The Hebrews, and let me get this out there too. A lot of you that been coming to this school already know this, but Hebrew is a Greek word. The word didn't exist till about 700 BC. It was made by the Greeks. The Paleo-Hebrew language was made by the Greeks. Hebrew is an anagram for her web. That's why it's all encoded in the Paleo-Hebrew language. Like the word for heaven is Shemaya, which means her illusion. Hebrew is her web. It's like a joke. It's like a prank that's been played on people. Word Hebrew comes from the word haparu, which comes from the word apiru, which is a title for a class of people within a society. It has nothing to do with ethnicity, race, color of skin, tribe, where you're from, none of that. It's like upper class, middle class, and lower class. The apirus were people that hired themselves out for various services, like maids, basically. But when let them tell it in their books, they're slaves. They're slaves. Like Abraham slept with his slave, but really it was what? It was a maid, a Hebrew. When he had Ishmael, and then Isaac. There's Yah and El again. Ka-ya-in, aka Cain, or Enki. Cain, K-E-I-N, is Enki. Once again, Ka-ya-in, Enki is Yah, E-A, Yah. Enki, Cain, and then Abel, Abba, El, Enlil. Okay, Father, the Lord of hosts. That's Enlil, which actually it was spelled Enlil before it was Enlil. Okay, so it's Yah and El, both. Yah and El to both. Yah, Yah the Baoth. Yah El the Baoth. Yah the Baoth. The demiurge, the one that demerges the light. Separation, divides, conquers, tribes, masculine, ruler gods, not creators, but they are creators because a creator is the creator of the creature in the crater, not the origin of your eternal soul. Let's get back to this. So Shamash is not their god. They have that information is incorrect.
They believe that all planets are sentient beings. In fact, they are all deities for the Nibirian pantheon of gods.
Okay. As I said earlier, they don't believe, okay, they do, these beings know that the energy is sentient. Your tree outside of wherever you're at right now is sentient. Okay. The grass is sentient. Mushrooms are very sentient. Actually, mushrooms really connect everything. Okay. The mycelium network. It's probably one of the strongest networks in the etheric network. Now, when it or she is saying sentient beings, and she said that they're on the pantheon, as I said earlier, they associate themselves with these energy signatures. They still do today. All the symbols and logos are letting you know which families they are and which bloodlines they're coming from of these Anunnas. They're letting you know, hey, this is the Mars bloodline. Amen Ra, Marduk. Elon Musk, that is Marduk. Okay. Every time you see him, he got the Mars shirt on. Marduk, that's Mars, the war. Ra, Amen Ra, Amun Ra. Okay? Mars is the ram or Aries, the age of Aries. Okay? That's where, you know, from the age of Taurus, the changeover event, when they tell you Moses went to the desert for 40 years, that's all. They just took information from everywhere and just put it wherever they wanted. The 40 years originally is when they came from their crater Saturn, when they cut the connection to the great mother, the womb, the origin source, and when they merged with their technology, Allah. When they merge with their arm, leg, arm, head, the makings of their arm, leg, their arm, leg, arm, head. They merge with their technique, aka idolatry. That's when the umbilical cord was cut, severed, and they become what a Biblican will tell you is reprobate. They can never return to source. They can never leave time. They can never be eternal. Now they are immortals, stuck in infinity. Infinity is in time. It's a cycle. That's why there are no prophets here. There are only those that remember. Anyone claiming to be a prophet, red flag. Because if they truly knew, they would tell you it's that they remembered. What does remember mean? Becoming a member of game. Member of what? Your true self, your higher self, your soul. Not your oversoul and all that. The oversoul is the womb, is source. That's the oversoul. Okay? Your higher self is your soul. You are a soul. Soul Solomon, soul of man, who is the only person here, only builder, master builder that can remember. God or goddesses dwelleth not in temples made by man's hands. Who is the only being here that can create a temple that is not made by man's hands? The womb man. Don't matter, man, about you sticking your physical little phallus and spraying some physical little snakes, serpent seeds swimming up in the waters and all that, and 7 trillion of them die and one of them makes it to the egg and all that. It still stays internal, and the womb man carries 2 souls at once, 2 auras. That's the Taurus, the crossing of the auras, 2 auras at one moment. That's the womb man. That's why the X chromosome holds 1,000 times more information or data or light codes than the Y. When they tell you a rib got removed, it's 4 ribs, ribosomes on the X. 1, 2, 3, 4. You put a woman to sleep and take 1 rib, what do you got? You got a Y. You got 3 ribs now. 1, 2, 3. That's the man. They switched it. Then they tell you, then they sprinkle in revelation of the method. Well, Adam woke up and called Eve the mother of all living. Why would he call her that? She ain't even got up off the ground, according to them. Ain't moved, ain't said nothing, ain't did nothing, ain't looked at him, nothing. But this is the mother of all living. They, the ANUNNA, brought all that, everything here that the demiurge created and or that was already here and distorted, and see what Adam that they created in the skins would call everything. name it, proclaim it, because he still had the Allspark authority to name it, proclaim it. What's this? What's that? What's this? What's that? The only thing Adam didn't name was himself. No knowledge of self. Therefore, knows nothing. If you know everything external and you don't know internal who you are, you can have the whole knowledge tree sitting in your front yard right now. The whole thing. The halls of Amenti, the Akashic records, your astral projection, yada, yada, yada. It means no thing, nothing, if you don't have wisdom of self. Wise dome. The mind. Meant all is mind. And where does mind come from? Where organic minds begin.
Every planet of our solar system is a god or goddess. So the ancient history for them that they know is that Earth, once upon a time, was a planet called Tiamat. And this was in the early stages of our solar system. A rogue planet, which should be technically Nibiru.
All right. The early stages of our solar system, there's no such thing. Time is not linear. It was no, here's the solar system begins, and here's the timeline, and here's the line, and this happened here, and this happened here, and this happened here. That's how they want you to think. That's called logic, or the masculine. They want you all with the left hand path, the left brain, the left mind, the left energy, so you can get left in time, left behind with them. Okay? It's a loop. There's no beginning or no end. That's why they show you with their symbols, the Ouroboros. What is that? It's the serpent eating its own tail. That's the masculine energy eating the feminine energy in a cycle. When the feminine energy rises back again, zip, wipe out. You remember about the skating rink? Wipe out. I probably got the beat wrong. That surfer song, and you would be skating, and when they do wipe out, the DJ would cut the music off, and you would fall, you would stop. It's wipeout. When the feminine energy, when the scales of Ma'at get back balanced, harmony, there's no sun for 1,200 years approximately. There's no night, but yet everything is illuminated. By who? By you, beloved. By us. You and I. The you and I verse. So there was no, in the beginning of our solar system, and Tiamat was the beginning planet, and da-da-da-da-da. That's all constructs of the ANUNNA. They've been timekeeping. They've been stuck. They know how long ago they did on a linear timeline. 13.8 billion years. That's how long they've been stuck in this cycle.
Our solar system by chance got caught in our sun's orbit. Now does this weird elliptical orbit around our sun of 3,650 years. So when this first happened, that Nibiru got trapped into our solar system.
You notice how now it's 365,000 years, or 3,650 years, or whatever she said. Before it was 3,600 years. When it was just 360, now it's 365. You see how it changes? You see how they move the goalpost? Just like they getting ready to change the Bible again. They already did. You just don't know it yet. Now they got aliens in the Bible. The new Bible that they are going to try to give, anyone that still has that itch for raw legion that took, oh, they got whatever you want. They got whatever flavor you like. Because you know that I hope you know there's only one sense here, right? They tell you there's 5 senses: hearing, feeling, or hearing, touch. Hearing, touch, seeing, taste, and smelling. 5 senses. You only have one sense. There's only one sense here. It's touch. The light has to touch your eyes. The sound wave has to touch your eardrum. The wind has to touch your derma, your skin. The food has to touch your taste buds. The vapors have to touch your sensory glands in your sinus cavity. There's only one sense. It's touch. But that's why when you're in alignment, the mind of your heart, aka soul, can discern every movement, seen and unseen. Can discern everything. Even if you can't see it, you can feel it. You don't have to see these entities, these bodiless entities. You can feel it with the mind of your heart, your soul. That's why you can close your eyes when you meditate. Meditation, mediation of the ions. You're in between all the ions and you're being still, centered, and you can see all, remember all, and you are all, and you can feel all. Be still. Know who I am. Who am I? Give me one moment. Let me plug my charger in. Excuse me. I hope everything's okay in the chat. I really don't look in the chat during my teachings. But I know that I have an excellent moderator present, so I'm not too worried about. I worry about no thing. But anyone who is not in balance or this does not resonate with you, you don't have to cause chaos here or bring distraction here. The door is not shut. The door remains open. You may leave and you may enter at any moment. I just ask that you show respect to others, because when you do come to the understanding that I are you and you are I, and we create a verse, aka music, aka harmonic vibration, and it's not you versus I, okay, sometimes you're not able to come back and what biblically would be called the word repent, to turn back around and go, make things right. So that's where, the old saying, you have 2 ears and 1 mouth, listen twice as much as you speak. That it goes the same thing on this internet, except you're speaking with your fingers. Remember, feeling. It's all feeling, whether you speak or you're typing. It's one sense. So whether this resonates with you or not, just show respect and just don't distract others. It costs you no thing except you being to sit here and listen without distracting or causing chaos. Okay. You are here right now. That's what it's costing you. So if this does not resonate with you, then you can go elsewhere and spend your energy where it resonates. Okay? And I love you, and we love you. Now,
system, it ended up colliding with the planet Tiamat. Tiamat broke into two, and their mythology tells us that one part of it became Earth, Gaia, Ki, they called it Ki, and the other part became the moon. When this
okay. This is the Tamarans or Egyptians tried to tell this with Ra slaying the Apep, and the Sumerians tried to tell us this with Marduk splitting Tiamat in half. What they're speaking of is on a broad scale the energy, but when we get into details, they're speaking of elements. Elements is just the mind of El. If you don't know who El is 7, the cube, the square, Saturn. Okay, that's why 7, it's all about the 7 and the 7th day, Saturn day, the Sabbath day. So Yahuwah Sabaoth, it's the 7, lucky 7, but 13 is demonized and this and that. Okay, but it's always lucky 7. All right. L is a 90-degree angle. All right. L7 is a two-dimensional representation of the cube. All right, which goes into all the rituals, all the logos, down to the graduation of putting the black cube on your head, and the tassel represents the umbilical cord to the Great Mother, the womb of the origin. And when you graduate, you move it from the right side, which is the feminine energy. And let me be clear, feminine energy does not mean woman. And masculine energy does not mean man. If you're thinking like that, you're thinking in a 3D carnal. You're still in the flesh if you're thinking like that. We're not talking about women and men. It's energy. Okay? It's not feminine energy is a woman and masculine is a man. No, that's what they want you to think. That's called transhumans, transhumanism, transgenders. Keep you in a trance. Like the snake when they play the sacred flute, the vibration that keeps the cobra in a trance in between. Is it this one? That one. This one, that one. Red, blue, hot, cold. Bible, Quran. This one, that one. Democrat, Republican. Is it Father God or the Great Mother? It's a trance. Transgender is the same thing. Transhumanism is the same thing. It's duality or polarity. We are meant to be single. One. From the zero. We come from the zero. They want you to think you come from the one. The one is, I'm a jealous guy. I'm the only one. There ain't no other one but me. No. We come from the 0 point that they can't fathom. They tell you that the darkness can't comprehend the light. No, it's opposite. The light can't comprehend the darkness. And I'm not talking about darkness, evil, and all like some witchcraft or something. I'm talking about the triple black seed of the mother, aka where all emanations come from and where all emanations return. Organic. Okay. So they flip that to Luciferians. the light. I mean, but they even revealed to you, unveiled to you about that Satan and his angels come to earth as angels of light. And then you got Moses talking to one in a burning bush right after they tell you that they come in as angels of light. How does that work? He's talking to this person, and then the Christ come tell you that no man has seen the Father, talked to the Father, seen his shape, or heard his voice at any time, because the Father he's speaking of is Adam of light. That's who's the true image you was made after. That's not the origin of your soul. It's the image you was made after. One of the first emanations, the golden man, the golden womb man. That's the true Adam and Eve. Adam is muta or mother's reflection. Gaia and Uranus. The Greeks try to tell you in their mythos as well. And Uranus will be returning as our pole star for 7 years in 2046. Our pole star has to come through Cancer. What governs Cancer? The moon. So when she says that Tiamat was split in half, half became the moon, half became the earth. No, that was when they made the firmament and the lenses and the fractal and the lights and the mirrors and all these little gimmicks and technology and all this and that. And they got the energy out of balance. So now you got a moon that got cycles. Now you got night and day. Now you got seasons. And now you got this and that. Now you got hot and cold. They want you to think it's all physical. Oh, the original being was man and female. You were hermaphrodite. Hermes, Trismegistus. You was two things in one body. That's three. The Trinity. You was the Father, the Mother, and the Son. You're Isis and Horus. See, they turn that into Ra Legion as well. When it's plain and simple, you're the light of this realm. You're the light. Right? You're the Son of God. You're the Christ. You're the Christos. If you decide to. If you know you are. I know you are, but what am I? I know you are, but what am I?
This happened and this fracture occurred. This is when they knew about Tiamat having veins of gold. Okay, so now we're going to go back to why they thought it was okay to create Homo sapiens sapien from the hominids that were on this planet. They believe that the seed of life of Earth was thanks to that collision. Basically, they think that Nibiru seeded Earth with the life organism. So when Enki saw the hominids that were already on Earth, he said, these are our predecessors. When Anu, Enlil, and Enki were all deciding what to do about the strike that the Igigi had, basically the Igigi were the astronauts from Nibiru that came to Earth to make these settlements, but they were astronauts.
Okay, let's clear up the Igigi. To be broad, I always start broadly. They're who you would call today the gray aliens. Okay, that's who the Igigi are. They were little people that were made inorganically. Okay, to infiltrate us, because the ANUNNA, when they come into form, when they bring themselves down vibrationally into a physical form, they can't get too small because they would get stuck. in physical form. So they appeared real big. And that's the 369 energy as well. Even when they did start becoming embodied. And most of them are stuck in bodies now. That's the blue bloods. All right. The 369 energy is elongated. It produces elongated light and elongated, when the light is dense, aka matter, skeletal structures, elongated skulls. That's why all the pharaohs, that was the blue bloods of that age. The popes, the first popes, that's why they had the mitre or the fish hat. It was to be a symbol and also hide their elongated skulls, because it was unbecoming, but it was also a sign of royalty, of I'm higher than you, I'm a god on earth. And that's what the Pope is. It believes vicar of Christ means substitute of Christ, means Christ on earth. The vicar of Christ, that's what the Pope is. That's what he says he is. Okay. That's what the pharaohs. Okay. They turn the phi to the phi. Pharaoh. See, it's always the O, because the O is what? The great mother, the womb, the circle. So it always got the O. Sal O man or moon. Okay. Men O Ra. Okay, it's always the O in the center. Do you see? Because that's you. You're the center. Everything revolves around you, not the sun, not the physical plane of inertia. It's you, beloved. You're the one. You're Neo. What is Neo? The neocortex. It's where everything begins. The beginning. It's the origin. Neo is where all your thoughts. Thoth is Tahuti, Jehudi, the Jews. They hijacked that as well. Thoth is not some being that was here 35,000 years and blah, 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 blah. Thoth is thought, but it's squaring the circle. Thoth is TH, which is, if you put them together, it squares. If you put the T and the H around the O, which is in the middle again, TH, you put the T and the H around, it squares the circle. Thoth, the hijacking of your soul, of you being. So now you're not being, you're always either in the past or in the future. Your mind, you're meant. So you're never now. That means you never win. You never won. You're always behind. You're always chasing. When you chase things, they run from you. It's universal law. If you chase a rabbit out, it's going to run from you. If you run from a dog, it's going to chase you. If a dog's chasing you, run, it's going to chase you. Anything you run, chase, or run, go after. You chase money, you're always going to be chasing money the rest of your incarnation. If you chase women, you're always going to be chasing women. If you're chasing a man that got money and this and that, you're always going to be looking for a man to complete you. If you're looking for a religion that's going to complete you, you're always going. If you're looking for a church that's perfect, you're always going to be looking for a church. It's you, beloved. It's always been you. That's why the O is in the middle of all of this. Every esoteric mythos in our story. Earth is the heart. Being. It's about being in the now. What do we do, Chief? The next right thing. Simple as that. You should be teaching at every moment and only use words when necessary. You should be teaching at every moment and only use words when necessary. Be still. Be patient. Because being still doesn't mean being still. And let me be clear, this whole thing about raising your vibration, that doesn't, the malevolent ones know how to raise their vibration. It's not about raising your vibration. Oh, my frequency is on 1 trillion hertz. It's not about the highest frequency. It's about balance. Balance. Why you think the heart is the 4th, the X, 4, X, the soul, the womb, the mother. It's the seesaw. It's 3 chakras or 3 churches or 3 seals or 3 trumpets above the heart, and it's 3 trumpets below the heart. It's the see and saw. I see and saw. I see the future. I saw the past. The heart is in the middle. The heart is now. When you live in the heart, in eternal love, you're in eternal now. You're not trying to see the future, and you ain't trying to saw the past. Two arms, 2 legs. Be in the now.
I mean, it's not like they wanted to mine gold and do all of this forced labor. I mean, it was hard. And remember, they didn't even have any women here yet. I mean,
the Igigi, yeah, they were just, the Igigi are basically, okay, because we're in a cycle. So it's not the exact same details every time in the figure 8, the analemma, but it's the same format. It's the same construct. It's the same code, basically. It's the same binary code structure. It's the source code. They can't get past the source code, the atone, the atonement. They can't get past that. So the details change. All right. So you are witnessing the making of the Igigi right now. The black scleras. If you don't know what the scleras is, the white in your eyes. I can't say too much because they actually they erased one of my pages for a teaching I did on this years ago when this first came out. But a woman and a man who have took the jab hook and an uppercut and got in the booster seat, and they fornicated and they reproduced offspring that have completely black scleras, not black pupils, not big brown, dark brown eyes, black eyes, the same eyes you see from somebody like Aleister Crowley in the Lamb or whatever the heck that thing's name was, with the big old head and the black eyes and all that. And they tell you the gray aliens with the black eyes, they're being be-earthed right now. They're just human enough, but they have what we would today call the serpent seed, the blue blood, the goo, the e-goo, electronic goo, the black, you know what, in them. And what you're seeing is the beginning of the Igigi all over again. But because of what's about to happen in the about 2040s, they're going to have to go underground. This is when they get really pale and actually get gray. Okay. And when Antarctica melts, and don't worry, it's not going to flood because of what happens in about 3.5 day event. All of that water gets sucked out of here. The that happens in about a half hour. The electromagnets, they tell you in what they call today the Book of Revelation, which actually comes from the Sibylline priestesses. Just remembering the cycle and documenting it. First, it was the apocalypse of Jesus Christ, which written in Greek is a poke of the lips of he so which riseth to. Jesus Christ was not written as a proper noun. It was he so which riseth to. That's what the book of Revelation was called in Greek originally. Apocalypse is poke of the lips. That means a kiss that can betray you or a kiss that can lead you to the truth. Love or lust. Venus. Mars is war. If you can go to the Saturnal Order Part 2, and it explains all that with the changeover. But we're coming to a big one. The 12,000 every 12,900 years, one by fire, one by water. These are the two pillars of Freemasonry. The Joachim and Boaz. One's red, one is blue. This is the red lodge, and the blue lodge. They have technology where when the flood comes, they go under the water and they create a biosphere down under the water. And when the blue sky returns and the focal point we call the sun returns, they send someone up to check it out, aka the Dogon tribe standing on the shores of South Africa. And here comes Dagon or the Nomos, the fishmen coming up like a Navy SEAL. In technology coming up on the shore. A Navy SEAL had been living underneath in a biosphere that's been made for about 1,200 years, comes up after the flood, and boom, now you got native people that were living in harmony with nature, don't care about being naked because they don't know nothing about lust and all that. It's about harmony. They ain't looking at where you poop out of, and dang, look how big that pooper is. Look how big her breasts. Look how nice them milk givers are for the babies. Man, I'm attracted. I lust over that. We don't think like that when energy's in harmony. You ain't looking at a physical body talking about, man, look at them milk givers of the baby. I'd love to get my hands on them. You're not thinking like that. A woman ain't looking at a man's private phallus and saying, well, look, man, look at that. Love to have that inside of me. That's distorted. That's stinking thinking. That's the parasite, the Lord of hosts. That's how distorted the frequency has got. That's how you know how close we are to the purge, the purging event. And this time it's by fire. That represents the red pillar, which they have technology underground. They're going underground during the fire one, which fire is just a nice way of explaining it. It's plasma. Just imagine lightning times 10,000. More than that. 50,000. Maybe more than that. Imagine a worldwide lightning storm, but lightning times like 100,000. That's what the plasma apocalypse is, the changeover event. And it's attracted to all inorganic frequencies, including mixing of metals, aka steel. All these elites making their underground bunkers and got rebar all through them. All the streets in all the cities, because I used to do masonry work, and I ain't talking about Freemasonry. I'm talking about real masonry with cement and concrete, laying blacktop. Did it for years, since I was 16. But I was going to say something, but I better not say it. But it's rebar through every city, every road, every sidewalk. So every city is going to melt. The only thing that will remain is things that were made of stone, i.e. the Grand Canyon. When you look down in the Grand Canyon, you see a whole big city that was made of stone. That's called meltology. The heat from the plasma is so intense, it will even melt rock. But that's because the rock has natural metals in it as well. It's just an abundance of them. So the plasma attracts to it, but not as much as others. That's why in the book of Revelation, and revelation just means to reveal something. So they're unveiling, but now they're revealing it with a story to mix you up. If they were trying to tell you the truth about something, they would call it the book of unveilation, the book of revelation. Okay, means it got the truth in it, but you got to decode it. That's what that means. But the book of Job is all about the last plasma apocalypse as well. The whole book of Job is about the last fire one, and Noah and all that. You got to realize there was regional floods. That a lot of people have these flood stories at different linear time frames. But when we talk about this pole shift, and let me be clear, when the sun returns, it doesn't come up in the east. It will return coming up in the west. This has been documented by all native cultures across the land, including my tribe. Excuse me, not my tribe, the tribe that I am intertwined with. The sun will reverse. It will come up in the west and it will go down in the east when it returns after about 1,200 years. So it'll be reversed. So then for a whole 12,000 some years, the sun will rise in the west and go down in the east. It gets reversed, and it's in the 8. It's in that ANUNNA. It's when it comes together. That's the 12,900 years. Then you go to the U-turn, and within that figure 8, there's 4 points or portals when spirits can enter and exit. So that's where someone like Elon Musk comes in. Marduk. Trying to get out of here. If you don't know, Marduk was the one that had man building what you call, or what we are told is the Tower of Babel. That was Marduk building that. It's a ziggurat spaceport. We weren't trying to build space, but we don't care about that. We're living in harmony. And go where are we going? I'm cool right here. I got love. That's all I need, and I'm being. You can make your own doggone spaceport. Where you trying to go? Mars? No, because you ain't from here. You from somewhere else. You're trying to get back to where you're from, and you're stuck. We're from here. Hey, Pop. Yeah, I'm in the middle of a teaching.
You know what's cool?
Huh?
You know what's good?
What?
When you're a good dancer, the women just want to dance. I had to slow down. I'm like, okay. Oh,
You hear this old chief right here? He said, you know what's good? When you're a good dancer and the women just come to you.
Jesus.
Old saying, if you're an eternal soul, when we can dance and they can't. Them blue bloods can't dance. And I ain't talking about you got to be able to do, all the crazy popping and locking and doing, the Michael Jackson. I just mean you got to have a little bit of.
I got game.
Just a little bit of soul. That's all. See, them blue bloods ain't got that.
Well, there's all of us in here.
Let's see if Joe Biden dance. Trump up there. Looking goofy. But Trump is actually he's mixed. He's mixture. He's what you call a real Cain-able. He's mixed with Cain and Abel bloodline, and that's the purple. And I might not be. I plan on getting into that, but didn't get that far. I didn't know Senior Chieftain was gonna get here this early. Thought he was going having his night out.
It looks like it was this big prison world where everybody was forced to do excessive work except the royals. Okay. Anyway.
So what did she just explain? She just explained was right now. The Sumerian tablets ain't saying nothing that ain't happening right now. Everyone thinks it's a prison world. Everyone's working, busting their butt, and slaves, except for the who? The royals or the elites. The ones making sure the L is eaten. Who's L? The father that eats his own children. Chronos. Keeping you stuck in time.
So basically, Enki said, hey, there is a hominid race on this planet. It looks like one of our predecessors. I think that it's us. I think that Nibiru seeded life into Tiamat at the time. And then everybody was like, oh, then we can do it. And that's when they start mixing their DNA with this hominid.
That's not really what the tablets say. It's close, but that's not, because I'm going to shorten this up. That's not really what the tablets say. Ninma, it's Enlil, Ninma, and Enki are siblings. They all come from different mothers. Enlil comes directly from Anu's sister. See, they marry their sisters. That's where the royalty, the elites of this dimension get it from. That's why they keep it in the family. There's 26 bloodlines. All right. There's 26 of the blue bloodlines. All right. Some think there's 39, but there's 26. All right. 2 is 1/3 of 6. That's the 1/3 energy. Okay. So 39 is 3 is 1/3 of 9 as well, but there's 26 of these families, and they intermarry. That's why even like Semiramis and Tammuz, they marry their brother, and then have the son. The son is their brother or the father. That's where that story comes from. It all comes from the ANUNNA. Okay, so you have Enki or Ea, Enlil or Yahweh, and then you have Ninma or Lilith. Ninma or Lilith was the one that actually first carried their first clones. She's the one that did it, but she wanted to do it her way. That's why they demonized Lilith and all that. Now I don't listen. I love all, because we are love. But as far as the Anunna, I ain't on you gotta reap what you sow. Ninma, Enki, Enlil, whoever, Shamash, or whoever, they all gotta reap what they've sown. So love is one thing, but free will is another. But yeah, that's a little off what she just said. Enki did that later because they have a hierarchy, the Anunna, of 50 seats. And the 50th seat is the ruler of this crater. That's the position of the 50th seat on their council. And so there was there's inner turmoil amongst each other. Who's going to get that 50th seat? So they were all trying to get that 50th seat and trying to do things here in Gaia, in our crater, to get that 50th seat, to be the ruler of Earth.
Because they thought it was the same being. So here's where they fucked up. We were never the same being as them. We were not their predecessors. We had nothing to do with them. We were an entirely different species. Let's be clear. Our origin race started on this planet and has nothing to do with the Anunnaki. Even
Okay. Let me clarify that. Started with the energy that is here. That's where our souls originate from. The energy that is the A tone here, the alpha tone. That is not from this planet and all that, this spinning ball and all. We come from the energy that emanates from here. That is where we are from. All right. The red blood, the Phi energy, PHI energy, and the Fe iron-based blood, the red bloods, A, B, B, and O. Okay. Somebody will tell you, they'll try to say A and B is the red and the blue mix. That's Cain and Abel. No, it's not. There's dark Caucasoid, Mongoloid, Negroid, and Amerindic. That's the 4 original bloodlines, 33 original tribes, and each tribe is separated by 223 genes. That's it. That's the skull and bones, number 322 inverted. That's the secret of the skull and the bones, that we're only all separated from 223 genes, no matter what color you are, no matter where you come from, no matter what your blood type is. And it was 33 original tribes. That's the 33 degrees. They hijacked the whole thing. The Master Masons is Mama. All the womb. You have to be a womb man to be a real original Master Mason. A Mason just means my sons. That's the men. So the original Master Mason was Mamas, the mothers, the ones that can build the temple that God dwells in.
even though we were created by a God that we think is the God of the Bible, but no, the religions that are on this planet all came from and were created by the Anunnaki. They did it as a control system. Governments, they created them as a control system. Cities, countries, borders, they created everything. Control, control, control. We are their pets in their minds, in their.
And why is it all about control? Because it's about them being immortal. It's not about controlling you just because of just arrogance and pride and they want to control you. It's because they need an eternal source of energy to be immortal within time. Because even immortals can cease to exist. They can be wiped and not remember, not be a member of their clan, you see. So they have to remain with an external power source, which is an eternal soul. That's why at the end of the Bible, Biblicans have this saying, read the back of the book, we win. Now read the very back of the book, and a cube comes down from heaven, adorned like a bride for its husband. Okay. We're on what we call Mother Earth. So why are you sending down a cube, which is masculine? It's always represents masculine. L7, the cube. All right, coming down, adorned like a bride. Transgender. Adorned like a bride. Didn't say it's the bride. It says adorned like a bride for her husband. Didn't say it's the bride. It says here a cube coming down out of heaven, adorned like a bride. Remember in Genes of Isis, Genesis said you will be like God when you already was God and Goddess. Took a step down. Like them, the Anunnaki, because they severed the umbilical cord, the great spirit connection to the womb of origin, source. So follow me to the knowledge, to the ledge. Come know the ledge. Come look off the ledge. Come know the ledge, the cliff. All right, the swine jumping off the ledge. Come know the ledge. Come on, into the sea, the great mother, the sea, the water. Little do they know, becomes the abyss. They're not getting back to what's called the pleroma. Okay? That's a whole different teaching to explain that. I have to go too deep. But what was I saying? Let me see. Let me hear this again. Oh, in their minds. So what did she say before that? I can't start it over. I can't rewind it. Oh, it's a battery. So coming a cube coming down out of heaven, Shemaya, her illusion, adorned like a bride for her husband, the masculine energy. So here comes what they're talking about is a Merkaba, but it's an external Merkaba. There's nothing wrong with Merkaba vessels. You can create a Merkaba, but it comes from internal. You can create it with your soul, with your heart, the mind of your heart. They create an external Merkabas that need external energy sources to create it. So the cube coming down out of heaven. Remember, the last time it's black Saturn, black cube, the Kaaba, which is actually Eve's ancient name, Kaaba. They stole that too and turned it into a square. That's them saying we turn the feminine circular energy, the flower of life, the real flower of life, into a square, thorns and thistles. That's the Kaaba in Mecca. All right? That's what that is. That's them rubbing in your face. And that's why the Kaaba even has the sacred yoni with a piece of the Ben stone. Ben means sun. Sun, Enki Enlil, Cain Abel, Ishmael Isaac, Ben stone. That's what that means. And it's in the yoni on the side of the Kaaba in Mecca, in Islam. All right? Which comes from not Allah, but Alat, which is thousands of years older than Allah. Alat was the feminine version of Islam, which is like 5,000 years older. It was a feminine deity named Alat. But again, that's a whole nother teaching. But basically, the cube coming down is an external Merkaba. So it's the analemma all over again. It's the figure 8. It's the garden. It's the Eden again. It's to get souls to make the free will decision. This time it's made of gold, golden light, the aura, the Au-Ra. They tell you it's made of gold, clear gold that you can see through. Clear gold. How is gold see through? Same way your aura see through right now. That's how. It's an auric Merkaba coming down. All right, they got it ready. They're getting it ready right now. And all the souls will go in. It's a battery. It's a huge battery. Eden. That's what Eden was. But the souls have free will. All right. But they needed something to snap them out of the spell. They had to what? Remember. That's why they all are the ANUNNA have demonized Enki or Iya. Hallel was also another name of Iya. Hallel. Hallel was his name to the Canaanites. Iya was a Sumerian name. Enki, Babylonian name. Okay. Hallelujah just means you giving praise to Enki. You just yelling his name. Praising Enki. for I guess, and it's Lucifer too. That's where they get the story of Lucifer from. That's Enki. But Yahweh is Enlil and Satan. So you got Enki is Lucifer, and Yahweh and Satan and Enlil. It's all the same characters. The lion and the dragon, that's Enlil or Yahweh. So yeah, that's the ending of the Bible. If you want to know, it's their last play at catching souls in the Eden, to be a battery for them to remain immortal in time. Because when the eternal soul is in time, they emit. Because remember, anything, and I taught this in the first time I did this teaching before they messed it up. Concave lenses can only see virtual images. Convex, like cats, that's why people say cats can see other dimensions, and snakes and all, and goats. That's why they revere goats too, because goats got the convex lenses in their eyes too. They can see real and virtual, but the real images are upside down. They're flipped, they're inverted. So when a real soul, eternal soul, is in the illusion, we emit. We're not time. We don't become part of time unless you make the free will decision to. Okay?
Their minds, that's how they consider us. Animals that they made, we're like their little pets, but we're not. And when they realize that we are a species that can evolve to a higher level, even compared to them, that's when everybody went, oh no, what did we do? This is when they divided us by race. They started making everyone different. In the beginning, we all spoke the same language. They changed languages around. They changed writings around. This is why nobody understands ancient Sumerian. That was the language of everyone.
Okay. Let's correct that. The original language was images. Logos. That's why I told you the Greeks are the best scribes ever. Well, in this cycle. The Greeks, that's why they know that the word for heaven in Greek is Uranus, because it's the past Saturn. They know that Saturn is the gatekeeper. In Phoenician, the bet is a square that's made like a maze or a spiral, and it means home, and it's a symbol for Saturn. So it's letting you know that the Israelites, or the Jews, or today they say Hebrew, but that's just the whole, I already told you what that is. The Hebrew, the Israelites, or really it's the Jews, their home is Saturn, the crater, the energetic 369 energy. Okay. And Sumerian was not, our uniform was not, like, we didn't write anything. Only thing we did was make images. All right. And people take that as, oh, we were stupid. We didn't have a written language. No, we didn't need it, because we could speak to this entire teaching, this 2-hour teaching, I could give to you and in an image, and you could get this whole teaching in 5 minutes, 10 minutes. With the vision. Same way you could take a 15-minute nap and dream that you went on a vacation for like a week, and all you did was just fall asleep for 15 minutes on the couch, nodded out. That was our language. We only spoke when we wanted to manifest a physical vibration. That's why you have to go through this tour of the purge to purge out the duality and get control of your ment or your mind. You have to get it back single. That's Neb-Haru. The return of Nibiru is the return of Neb-Haru, the crossing, when the right and the left become one, or the Christ, Golgotha, the cross in the middle, when the thief on the left, the masculine energy that's taking everything and acting like they're the creators and the origin, but they're rulers. They're taking and distorting everything, the thief on the left and the thief on the right. That's college. with the black cube on your head and you move the umbilical cord from the right to the left. Well, how do you, college just stands for collage of knowledge. It's just a bunch of collage, a bunch of bundled up knowledge that you can use in this dimension. They ain't gonna give you nothing you can use like for real, your real authority in the collage at college. And how do you pay for college? You pay intuition. Where does intuition come from? The feminine energy. The masculine energy, sacred masculine, interprets intuition, doesn't charge intuition. Intuition charges the interpretation. It's where the charge begins, from the magnetism, not the electric charge, not L. L is secondary. That's why it's jealous. L will tell you, L will tell you, I'm the only one. I'm the jealous guy. I'm the only one. Ain't no other one but me. But yeah, there was. It's magnetism before you. It's unseen. We can see electric. They followed the cloud by day and the fire by night. L. We can see the electric. We can see it. It's visible. Can't see that magnetism, that sound, that word, that Christos, the true Christos, not the hijacked version. But no, it was not cuneiform. The closest language today on Earth that is closest to Sumerian is Hungarian. That's the closest language to the ancient Sumerian. And that's a fact.
Writing. That was the writing of everyone. Then they moved us around, divided us, and created different religions, different countries, different races. That way we were all divided and we would never unite again. Why? Because if we are united, we can find our true potential. Our God is not their God. We were not created by Samash, the sun god. The real true creator of all, that is for us, is a totally different being. In fact, when they came here and they jump-started us, they launched our evolution by 1,000,000 years, all at once. From one day, monkeys that stood up straight to Homo sapiens sapien. That was...
Okay, that's true and false. It's because they took one, like I said, there was many different beings here, animals and things. They took one particular set of beings. They didn't take the ones that they just had hijacked in Lemuria, because they genocided most of them. The ones that didn't get caught up in the geomancy from Lemuria had to basically play stupid, had to play dumb. And we've been having to do that ever since. That's why a true a person of truth is not going to be on here trying to yell it. I'm going to tell you that now. They're not going to have all these fancy, that's all I'm going to say about that. Okay. People saying they're, RH, no, blood, this and that. Like, first of all, that no longer matters. That was only one moment where they needed that bridge. Basically, the true, what we would call like priesthood of the benevolence, we don't yell it. The true guardians, we don't like have a flashing sign. Okay, that's why those everyone that is here right now, be grateful. Be great, not to me, not to I. You don't owe me anything. Okay, but be grateful. And what? Oh, let me see what it is talking about.
It's not natural. That was not organic. They mixed their DNA with us. Since we were destined to be something greater, since we are something more, something spiritual, something more enlightened than they are, something that they could never be, ends up that we were not their predecessors. They jumped in and modified a being that had nothing to do with them. We had our own destiny. They interfered with our destiny. I'm pretty sure that they have huge karmic consequences because of this, and they can't go ahead to the next step without us now because they interfered. But this isn't even.
Now that's a fact. That right there is a fact. That's what all of this and everything is all about. That's what the animal skins is about. Putting us in animal skins and all that. It's all about trying to get everyone inorganic. So the source, the great mother, the womb will accept all back in. All or nothing. That's their plan. First, they have to have an energy source to keep going in the figure eight to be able to try different things. They've been doing this for 13.8 billion linear years, trying to figure this out. And here we go again. Coming up to 2040 through the 2030s, it's going to be a nice little theatric show. Elon Musk, Donald Trump, and there's players that ain't even on the board yet that's finna come on. You finna see some, you think you've seen some wild stuff now? Grab your popcorn, sit back, relax, and know that no harm shall fall upon any of you. Okay? I love you guys so much. I'm gonna hit play for one more little moment, and then we're gonna finish this up.
And the biggest fuck up was we're more than them. You know Lucy, the one that can use all of her brain power? That's who we're destined to be. It's not true that if you use all of your brain power, you're going to implode. That's a movie. They want you to believe that. They want you to be scared of it. But it.
Okay. Actually, they're wrong. First of all, it's not your brain. Brain is technology made by them. This body, your brain, the ANUNNA, they made this. This is not you. It's technology. That's why the Egyptians got caught up in a false religion of worshiping that pineal gland. That pineal gland is not benevolent or malevolent either. It just allows you to be able to see a different level of the vibration, more of the spectrum. But you can still be deceived, and you can still fall for the okie doke, even with that first eye. Okay, syncretism, everything, synchronicity doesn't mean that it's coming from benevolence. It can also come from malevolent entities. So don't think just because synchronism and things are happening that it's like a definite sign of benevolence. Okay, and what it just said is false. I've been to the point where it's not your brain will implode, it's your heart. Your heart will explode. If you ask, I know many of you are here this evening, and you probably have asked the Great Spirit, please let me unveil all. I want to know all. Please just let me know this or that. And the Great Spirit will refrain from unveiling certain things to you. Let me tell you the truth. I've been to the point where the Great Spirit said, you really desire this is your will or your will? Here's just a taste. And let me tell you, if you aren't in alignment with the atonement, your heart will explode and you will rocket ship up out of here. You'll be gone. It is too much for this physical body. And the one thing that they just had right was that we are much greater and more powerful and have far more authority because we're still connected to source. And these bodies that were made by the ANUNNA cannot hold our true authority power. That's the repairing of the 144,000 light code when you'll get your gold body. your light body, because you cannot exist in this. Your heart, your physical heart, not the mind of your heart, not your soul. The mind of your heart, your soul. But this physical heart will explode if you know, if a certain amount of truth is unveiled to you. I've been at that door more than once, and it's scary. And I ain't talking about any kind of mind or mood altering substances, no drugs, nothing. I ain't talking about ayahuasca or something, some kind of mushrooms or something. I ain't talking about none of that. Peyote, I'm nothing. I'm talking about naturally just knocking. So be full of care. Okay? Be full of care. And seek first within, with the frequency of authentic love and righteousness, and everything that should be added unto you and repaired and restored and remembered shall be. This is Chief Iron Bush. I love each and every one of you. I'm going to go ahead and cut it there. I could go on. I could. But honestly, I have to use the bathroom. And Sakam Tamani just came in and he lays down early. So I love each and every one of you. As always, you know, I do put the let me take this off. I do put, I post like the monetary or the monetary contributions if you want to contribute. Yes. Why? No, not because I'm a hypocrite, not because I want your money, because we're still here in this 3D, this third dimension, and I am currently building something not only for us, but those that are going to be here coming through this changeover, and possibly even after. So, you know, it's just been what's placed on my heart. Am I saying that money is needed for it? No. But, you know, every bit counts. So if that's your way of sending love and energy, then there's nothing wrong with that. Okay? So I love you all genuinely, authentically, and I hope this helped you. 222. Yeah, this time we built. Last time at 22 and 2 seconds in, they put their little demonic overlay. Right now, there's 222 people in here right now at this moment. This time, the Great Spirit authorized this message. Mësët to all.